do a demo on a segmented basis. You see these up here, and I'll show you how to do them. At least the way I do them. You can do however you want to do it, but whatever's easiest for you. But, I guess to start out, you want to make sure your wood's dry. If you're going to glue wood together, especially end joint together, you want to make sure it's dry. You don't want it to warp. So that's the main thing, make sure your wood is dry. And the next thing to do is set up the saw. And I got some handouts here. Angles, just take one and pass them around. So we'll set up the angle, or set up the saw for, I'm going to set it up for a 12-sided vessel. So let's set it at 15 degrees. And these need to be exact cuts. So if you have if you don't have one of these, you need to get one. That sets your blade at the right angle.
What is it called?
It's a digital angle cube thing.
Is your saw level first?
Doesn't matter. It'll level up. You level it up on the base.
On the base.
Yeah. So it's got a place here that zeroes out. Turn it on, and it zeroes out on the base. And stick it on the side of the blade.
Oh man.
And of course your saw blade to the bed is 90 degrees. So if you're going to cut a 15-degree angle, your digital cube thing will read 75. 15 from 90 is 75. So whatever your angle is going to be, minus that from 90. And that's what your cubic thing should read. And you got two different angles you're going to cut. If you're going to make a vessel that's tapered like this, you got to turn your miter anywhere from 1 to 3, no more than 3, because you get past 3, you got too much this way. I mean, you're going to be way big at the top, little at the bottom. So I'm going to set it on 2. And we'll talk a little safety, you know, glasses, face shields, and hearing protectors. I've worked around these saws all my life building houses, and I should have worn them before, and I didn't. Now I got crickets in there talking to each other,
Oh, yeah.
and whistling, you know, things like that.
Pardon me?
Okay, once you make the cut, turn it over that way, clamp this side down. And set your width here, however wide you want these pieces. And you need a positive stop. That makes them all the same size.
You need a what stop?
You need a stop here.
Oh,
clamp
I
down,
see.
hold it down.
I see.
And you need this positive stop here, so they'll all be the same size. And you end up with pieces like that. You glue them together. And you can also put spacers in between. You can use anything for a spacer. Just a flat board. If you cut them on the table saw, just make sure your blade is 90 degrees so they're perfectly flat.
Did you cut it on the table saw?
This here I cut on the table saw, these flat pieces.
Did you count that little one too, as a degree?
Sir?
You count that little one as a piece?
It doesn't change the angle of your other pieces at all.
No,
does it?
this doesn't change the angle at all.
It just fills in.
It just makes it bigger, expand. I guess the next thing to do is show you how to glue it up. And that's the tricky part. That's the thing with making these here kind of vessels. It takes a while to do it. Takes about 1, 2, 3 glue ups. And I like to set them over, leave them set overnight.
So what angle was that you cut just now?
This here was 15 degrees,
15.
and you get a 12 size vessel out of 15 degrees.
And 2 the other way.
And the handy,
I don't know, I was probably pouring coffee or something. You're making a cone. What about that other angle? And you've got. Did you explain that?
which other angle?
The long angle.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that.
Yes,
Said no more than 3 degrees. Anywhere from 2 to 3, 1 to 3 degrees. If you get 3, like I say, you
All
really
right.
get a big cone.
I was sleeping.
That's all right. Thank you.
Just keep on cutting that cedar.
This year's mahogany, I believe. That there was cedar.
Yeah.
And these here, you want to cut them the same thickness this way as your piece is, no larger or no smaller, because it makes it easier to glue up. And you cut them just a little bit shorter than what these pieces are, this way. Cut them shorter.
Why do you cut them shorter?
I'll show you in a minute. We'll find out.
Wait, there's more.
One piece short.
Those spacers you're putting in there, is that solid wood or is that ply?
That's just plywood there.
Okay.
But you can use whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'll show you one that I just use 1/4 inch masonite. And I have cut them on the strips on the table saw, you know, different colored wood. Like this here, that's mahogany in there and that's maple there.
So Bill, you've got 12 pieces there. They're actually going to curve around and form like a cone.
Right.
Okay.
So you'll need 12 pieces of each. The strips, filler strips, and cones too.
Is there any particular, while you're cutting tape, is there any particular challenge in making the taller vessels like that one over there, or even maybe 14, 15 inches? Is that?
There it is. It just takes a longer tool to get down in there.
Oh, okay.
But you can do it from both ends. And I'll show you that. thing with making these here, it takes time. And I usually have 2 or 3 of them going at once. I'll glue one up and then I'll turn one that's been finished.
You saw it. Thought it was pretty good.
Hey, John, there's a stool back there behind that other table for you. It's yours. President's stool. It's got that on it.
And it helps keep those lined up. We need to tie them all together, because you know what I'm going to do next. Rolling those. He said.
Roll up.
Just took their breath away after Southern Piedmont last month.
We got to glue this bugger up somehow.
This is cool.
So we turn it over, like that. Did I bring my glue?
Like skinning a snake.
Yeah. I started out using a brush on these, you know, brushing every one. But all you gotta do is put a bead of glue down on the bottom, because when you roll this up,
Comes right.
squeeze it all together.
Here.
Bill, how many do you think you've done on these?
Now what?
How many cylinders do you think you've turned like this?
There they are.
Oh, there's more.
I sold one, give a couple away.
You're doing pretty good.
I did this demo up at Concord. Last month. And a guy come and offered me $50 for one of those vases.
You took him up on it, right?
No,
No.
I told him I hadn't priced any of them yet.
Look at that.
Right.
Did he do
That's
that?
cool.
Pretty good. That was about a one degree taper.
This here's about 1.5 or 2. I can't remember what I had on. The thing you gotta watch, you wanna make sure your strips, your filler strips.
If you didn't
Stay
have
out.
a nice chop saw, but you had a radial arm and a table saw, which would you rather use?
Probably radial.
Okay.
Yeah, you set the blade angle on.
Yeah.
You set the angles on the radial saw and saw so you can, yes. You can do it on a table saw, but you need to build a jig to slide your pieces through, across it. So just kind of snug those up a little bit. Oops, I have a mess here. You gotta have one of these. You don't have to have it, it makes your life easier. Get some of this stuff out of your way, Rich. So after you glue it up, here's what you end up with. I'll pass that around, you can look at it. But I'll need it back as soon as you get through looking at it. The only thing this here does is just flatten it down on the, so they're all the same height. Makes it a lot easier to turn once you get it on the lathe.
Don't forget your sandpaper, wax paper.
Yeah, I brought some wax paper.
It's masonite in there.
these down some more and make sure we're. Now tomorrow morning, that'll be ready. If you don't have one ready to go, get your book, sit down and read it till it dries.
Boy, I love that, thank you. Go to the beach or something, wait for it to dry.
Coming around.
Can I do a commercial, is it a commercial break? I have a lot of trouble with my finger splitting, and I've tried everything in the world. But you buy this at Lowe's Hardware, $6.99.
What's it called?
What is it?
Working hands. So anybody wants
Is
to,
that for where it splits out in the winter?
Yeah.
I hate that.
I hate them too.
Well,
You know, like chapstick will do the same thing.
yeah, chapstick
That's what I
does
hear.
good on stuff, yeah.
That's the only thing I've ever found, so I brought that in y'all. Write that down.
You say you get it at Lowe's?
Yeah, on the internet where it's made, you can get it for $6.99 plus $5 freight, so you can get it for $6.99 at Lowe's.
And we're never there.
We're never-
What thought you were that put it? Was it like a cream?
Yeah, it's a little can of cream.
Any questions while we're waiting on that piece to get back here?
What book did we read?
When I first started making it, I made an elaborate jig with big old rings, circles in the middle of them. Come down on here and hold this all together. You don't need all that, unless you're making a big one.
So if you're making a long one, you might want to put a plate on the other end with a live center in it or something, or?
Yeah, you're gonna need a steady rest, some kind of thing to
Stabilize it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can make two like this here and glue them together.
There you go.
And once you get it out of the lathe, you want to square up this bottom. And the tool, my weapon of choice is this hunter tool. I like it for doing these vessels, I like it for doing bowls.
Is that a scraper? What is that? A scraper of some sort?
It's got a four-sided tool on it.
All right, yeah.
And it gets dull, all you gotta do is loosen that screw and turn it.
Yeah.
Where's your face shield?
Mine's broke. I went and put it on the other day, I took my lunch ago, break the thing broke. Well,
Where's your face shield?
oh, shut up.
How fast are you running?
This here is around about 1100.
About 1100.
Main thing is get it flat. You can get it square, but always use the back end. And then